ninth-round pick out of the Citadel in 1981, Stump carved out a successful NFL career with the Cardinals.
He's strong. He can move. He was agile. He can make guys miss. I mean, he had it all. He had everything in the game.
In Cardinals franchise history, only Larry Fitzgerald has more all-purpose yards.
He did it all, man.
Hello, everyone. We had some technical difficulties, but we're on God's timing. I want to welcome everybody to the Stump Talk podcast, Running Back University. We have a platform here. We're uniting the running back community. We're here with the best NFL coach, in my opinion, Coach Stump Mitchell. We want to welcome our guest host, Sapphire. Welcome her to the platform. Sapphire, I know how you feel right now. When I first started working with Stump, and you see him, and you be like, man, it's really him. He got the beard and everything. It's like on TV, so I know the feeling. Every day that I see Stump, I rewind that in my mind. Uh, Sapphire, Coach Stump, I want to introduce you guys.
I,
Nice to meet you, Sapphire.
I'm almost speechless, and thank you, Ro, because I'm trying to hold it down over here. Coach Stump needs no introduction. Proven, I would agree with you, hands down, in my mind, the best running backs coach that I've seen in my lifetime watching football. And it's a pleasure to be on with both of you gentlemen.
Nice meeting you.
All right.
Coach, I want to say, I want to welcome and say hello to our friends, the T County Browns backers. They eventually will be the largest number one Browns backers fan club in the world. I want to say hello to Here We Go Brownies, our guy Dustin, hardest worker we know in Alley, and our co-producer Russ Johnson for the work in the NHS Hall of Fame. And please tune in and log in, hofnetwork.tv. It's going to be the exclusive platform for content, community, and sports. We're making something big of it for streaming services. We want to welcome our fans. We want to go right into the show. Sapphire, I'm going to let you take the stage.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ro. Coach, we've been listening for the last couple of days about stats, right? We have all the stats on lock, the turnovers, the missed opportunities. My mind is more on what I would perceive to be your neck of the woods from the running back perspective. We have a rookie running back, Sampson, who I thought did his thing, but it just didn't seem like the team was able to get the run game going. Speak to that, Coach. What did you see was not working for the run game on
Well,
Sunday?
I think they tried to play a host of guys, and none of them really got enough carries to really get in a groove. Uh, I don't know why they don't like Jerome Ford. All he's ever done for the Browns was produce. He produced when I was coaching him, and he produced last year. And for whatever reason, those guys that they have,
Hmm.
they were in college last year. He was in the pros, and his numbers were better as a runner in the NFL than their numbers were in at the college level. So I really don't understand. And when Jerome was in college, his college numbers were better than those guys' numbers in college. So it's a tough situation. I think the offensive line, those guys are trying to do a good job, but just not having enough touches to really get in the groove. I know how that can be.
That's so interesting. And thank you for sharing that because now my hat as a fan is on what goes into the decision making process to decide which running back to use, Coach.
Well, I think there's no question in my mind. Jerome Ford is a three down back. He can pass block, which is very very important. He's a short yardage goal line type runner when given the opportunity, and he's a first and second down guy. He can catch the ball. He can do it all, but he's human. Sometimes people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone.
Wow, that's really powerful. And in terms of that, what goes through the running back's mind? Like, just if you could speak anecdotally, if you will, about the psychopathy in the mind of a Jerome Ford when he knows what his capabilities are and he's not getting those opportunities.
Well, it's not just the running back; it's the players in general. Regardless of the position those guys are in, they want to feel some type of love. They want to feel and know that you see that they are capable of doing it. If you have a negative impact on a person, regardless of how well they have done things, eventually it may affect them. Just like it did with Amari Cooper. Amari had if you look at Amari Cooper's stats, he scored more touchdowns for the Browns than he did with anybody. He had more receiving yards at a single season with the Browns than he did with any team that he was on. And the way they handled it, his contract, uh, when he came to camp, he just wasn't there mentally. You try to get guys there physically with the strength and conditioning coaches during the off season, but their mind is the most important thing. They have to be in a frame of mind where they feel like you appreciate them.
I want to say, you guys, the Browns rushing, they rushed for a total of 49 yards out of 24 carries. Sampson was 12 for 29. Ford only had 6 carries for 8 yards. I'm glad you guys are covering the rushing because, Coach, being the division they're playing Aaron Rodgers, Burrow, and, uh, and the MVP and Lamar Jackson, Coach. I mean, realistically, the run game, I'm old school and I'm your guy. So I'm like, I don't know how you can win without running. But coach, I want to, ask you both, as far as how can they be successful with 49 total yards and probably one of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
But they should have won that game. You say that, but they still should have won that game because the defense played extremely well. That's the thing. Coach Schwartz has been there now, I think, 5 years, uh, close to it, uh, and he's had pretty much some of the same players. But the one thing that have not changed is the philosophy, how they're going to play defense. So those guys, I thought. Uh, they would have had to score 28 points. That's what I told you last week, Ro. I thought Cincinnati would have scored 27 points, but I thought the Browns would have found a way to beat them because they know they can beat them. That's the thing. So it's a mental thing. And the defense, they played extremely well. Unfortunately, offensively, they didn't get it going as well as they should have. And of course, special teams, they missed the field goal and a PAT as well.
I think that's listen, I'm feeling everything you're saying, coach. And then again, as a fan, I think, well, what was going on the O line, right? Like our big three, right? Batonio, Pochick, and Teller. To me, it just looked like, especially in the beginning part of the game, they couldn't really get off. Like their spacing looked off. I mean, when I think about what a running back, my perception of what a running back is looking at, there has to be some kind of gap or something that the running back sees that the front line is created for him. Can you speak to that? What you saw in particular with the O line on Sunday?
Well, I will say the O line, they have the toughest job in the business. Those guys, uh, they battling big people all the time. The thing about Cincinnati is that Scott Peters is now their offensive line coach. He coached those guys for 4 years. Okay, trust me, he wanted to be coaching those guys right now, but he wasn't given the job. But I guarantee you, he told the defensive coordinators everything that he knew about those guys, and he still love them. But he wanted to beat the Browns uh, just as much as anything. That's probably one of the best feelings he's had. I haven't spoken to him, but I'm sure opening up the season against the Browns going and finding a way to win, even though they only scored 17 points. And I think they gave up some sacks, but they found a way to win. And that's the thing about it.
Coach, I want to mention, obviously us doing our podcast last year, retaining some of the information and looking back on it, Coach, as I watched the game Sunday, some of the decisions they made 2 summers ago looks like to me are still lingering. Alex Van Pelt, Bill
Mm.
Callahan, and the legend Coach Stump Mitchell. Uh, you're a humble guy, but you cannot replace those type of guys, specifically you and Coach Callahan. Again, I just don't know how they can win effectively. Flacco was 31 for 45, 290 yards, but he had the 2 touchdowns, which probably he put the ball in a good place that maybe should have been caught. But coach, the run game and ball control and things of that nature come into play, especially late in the season. Do you think at this point the decisions from 2 years ago are still affecting wins and losses?
Well, I definitely think Coach Callahan and Alex Van Pelt, the loss of those two guys, in my opinion, definitely is affecting because you had to change schemes. I don't think that was necessary, but they did it anyway. So I don't think it was necessary. Some of the players that they let go, I don't think was necessary. Donovan Peoples Jones, even though he have not been heard of since he left Cleveland, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
what has happened someplace else. The fact was that as a six-round draft pick, he was unbelievable with the things that he did for the Browns, and he could have carved out some great things for the Browns fans. There's no question in my mind he would have been a great number two guy, with Amari Cooper and those other guys. So it's a tough situation.
Sapphire, I want you to interject and give us your thoughts. The Nets game, the Ravens. Uh, what are your thoughts there?
Well, first, I want to say there's an old adage. It goes something like this: "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." Right. So I would agree with Coach Stump regarding that. And I think people don't appreciate on the surface when you see the same faces like the head coaches and then you hear about changes, you don't understand the impact that the real worker bees of the team have on the players. And I'm talking about from O-line coach, like, Mr. Peters on down. In terms of next week, honestly, I just speak to it as a fan. I do not have a good feeling at all. I watched that game. I don't know what happened with the Ravens. I haven't really watched it more than once, but I do know that I expect them to be loaded for bear. Again, this is the divisional game. What I saw, the offensive product that the Browns put on the field this past weekend, I saw a lot of bubble passes, screen passes. I didn't see a lot of, like vertical passes. I didn't see a good run game. I just don't have a good feeling about the game. I'm very emotional about my Brownies, so I want to apologize if I'm not answering the question. But I do root for them. They are my team. I love my team. I want the best for them. But I'm very conflicted in terms of some things that I saw on Sunday, plays that I saw called. And again, I'll just go back to our lack of run game. I thought really put us in a position, a bad position, from behind. And we got a rookie kicker. I'm not making any mistakes. He's a professional. He needs to make those kicks. But I feel like even in that, there's no value for history, for wisdom, right? We got a former kicker in Dawson who could really help provide some insights in terms of what he did to make him one of the most successful kickers from that the Browns have ever had, and I'm talking about from a coaching perspective. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's where I'm living right now.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you, Sapphire is uh, very knowledgeable in her sports. She's a prayer warrior. I called her earlier, and she she started praying before tonight's show. So we want to welcome her, and we look forward. Sapphire, anything you want to say to her, Coach Stump?
Yeah, I didn't watch this game, but just listening at your take on the game, that wasn't who Joe Flacco was. He wasn't a bubble screen guy, short pass guy. We went down the field with Joe. Joe connected. I mean, every game he had, except for the first one, well, he threw for over 300 yards, but everything was a vertical threat. Guys downfield, David and Joko, Amari Cooper. I mean, that's who Joe is. And now, if you're trying to rink and dink, that's really not what they need. Jerry Judy had over 1,000 yards last year. That definitely should have been a game in which he had 100 yards. You know, vertical game is what Kevin is best at as well.
Very good. Well, we will see you next week, Sapphire. Thank you for your take. God bless you, and we enjoy having you.
God bless both of you as well. And Coach Stump, I'm waiting for you to come on back to the team, okay?
We'll see you next week.
You will.
All
See
right,
you later. Bye.
my guy,
What's up?
David. How you doing, man?
I'm doing I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. Can't
You're
complain.
looking good, man.
Appreciate you.
Running.
Appreciate you.
I've
I
been.
want to
I
welcome
was.
our.
I was trying to get back in touch with you, David, for the last couple of years, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get you in there with the Browns, where you and Nick could have had one heck of a deal.
I know, man. It would have been such a good duo. I think we could have had, and we definitely would have complemented each other in our skill sets. And man, I was hoping I could definitely play under you and play with Nick Chubb. He's a great running back, and it'd been a great duo, man.
Yeah, I
Everyone,
think.
Coach, hold on. Let me introduce our guy. Just the proper introduction. This is David Johnson, two-time Pro Bowler. Welcome to the Running Back University Stump Talk podcast. I call people Mr. and Mrs. I'm old fashioned, Mr. Johnson. We are trying to unite. We're not trying. We are uniting the running back community. It's a pleasure to have you being a former player for Coach Stump. We both know what he is and what he means to us. So we're going to delve into that. I just want to welcome you to the show and thank you for coming.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you, man. I was definitely pumped when I got the chance to talk to Stump. Man, he's done so much for me in my life and my career. I jumped at the opportunity to be on here with you guys and just talk football. Like you said, running backs don't get praised enough. We don't get enough respect as we should be in the league. So I was excited to be on here.
Bro,
Go ahead, Coach.
the thing that really turned me on about David, David was the main guy at his college, and I'm looking at
Northern Iowa.
video, I'm looking at video, and all of a sudden David is playing fullback and whamming the nose guard. I'm like, that's the guy I want, unselfish, totally unselfish, man. And he waited his turn in Arizona. A couple guys got hurt. We had to put David in. His first pass, bam, against the Saints goes for a 55-yard touchdown.
Oh yeah, man. I was biting at the bit to try to get on the field, and Bruce Arians didn't like rookies, so I was doing all I can, doing every special teams I could, and I mean, even in college, like you just said, I was playing fullback, playing receiver, doing everything I could just to help the team, and man, I was, when I got the opportunity, I tried to run with it and try to, make the most of every opportunity.
I want to take you back, David. Drafted in 2015, round three. I'll just say, as the avid sports fan, you were a beast. Very dynamic, big back. I posted a video of you today. Everyone went. The Saquon Barkley, the Madden pose when he jumped over the guy, and I go and do some research on you. And against the Carolina Panthers, we got almost 20,000 impressions. I don't know if people slipped on it, but you got caught a ball and went vertical, off 2 feet, came down. Luke Kuechly, who obviously we know is a great player, was grabbing straight air, and that play to me was more impressive than the Saquon Barkley, play that made the Madden cover. But I want to just tell you, want you to go back into your first touchdown, a receiving touchdown versus 49ers. What was that moment like for you and your family? And tell us about that.
Man, that was awesome. Just like Stump said, when we played the Saints, that was the first game, and even up until that point, I wasn't getting a lot of opportunities as a running back on offense. So I was really just a special teams guy, a kick returner, kickoff, punt return, being one of the blockers, and so when I was in the game, I was on the sideline most of the time. Unless it was special teams, I was on the sideline just waiting my opportunity. And it was actually towards the end of the game. I think it was the fourth quarter, like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. And I remember they put me in the game only because I think Andre or whoever was in was tired, and they put me in. And I think the play, that was called for me, they really wanted me. I remember Carson was like, "Just don't go out of bounds, just get the first down and keep the clock going." We were up at the time, and we were just trying to milk the clock. And I just wanted to prove to not stump. I just wanted to prove to BA and the offense and the league that I was a capable running back. And so when I got that catch, I saw the touchdown and I just sprinted as fast as I can. And luckily, I think Larry Fitz had a good block for me, and I was able to score a touchdown. And it cemented us for the first win and really got the momentum of that season going throughout the season. And for us and my family, it was I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always been a guy who was an underdog, even in college, coming out of the league. As Stump said, I, wasn't one of the highly recruited running backs that was drafted. I think I was the sixth one off the board at the time, fifth or sixth. And so after I scored that touchdown, it felt like I was really in the league. It felt like I really had started to make a name for myself, and all of the offseason, all of the prep going into my first year as a running back in the NFL, and all the hype that was coming in with the Cardinals, and trying to, like I said, be me and be able to help out the team. It all came into fruition, and I was so just grateful for the opportunity. And Stump has always been on my side, which it was I was really really grateful for. He's always rooted for me. He's always tried to give me opportunities, even when like I said, Bruce Arians wasn't big on playing rookies. And so I was very ecstatic, very excited. And even Stump knows, even after that play, I still wasn't the starter. I still was going right back to playing special teams and getting my 1 or 2 carries a game or 1 or 2 opportunities, and just trying to, every time I try to get the ball, I was trying to do as much as I can.
Coach Stump, can you tell us, go inside the locker room? You guys, I deal with Stump in a different manner in terms of I haven't played for him, but you being the player and coach, could you tell us about the daily approach? Because I know the type of guy you are. I would be. I don't know if I could play. I think you're a little crazy to me in your in your routine for my taste. But can you tell us the type of guy David was day in and day out, going to work every day?
David, Nick, Clinton Portis. I mean, those guys, you didn't have to tell them what to do. They wanted to be professionals. They worked extremely hard. Those aren't the guys that you worry about. You just try to, with those guys, the only worry you have is that they may go too hard sometimes, uh, because they're so dedicated to the game. And with David, I vision David as being a 1,000 yard rushing and 1,000 yard receiver. That's what I would talk to David about all the time, and I talked that way to Bruce Arians, and then we got David involved in the passing game a lot because he was a receiver at one point in time. A lot in college, so he could do everything. He could run all the routes. He could do it all, and he was close to getting 1,000 yards there. Unfortunately, he got a leg injury in our last game of the season, and he wasn't able to get that 1,000 yards receiving. But that's the type of guy and type of player that he was. And with him having the opportunity to play with Deshaun in Houston, I was definitely trying to get the Browns to bring him in. And it's probably one reason I got fired because I would always bring David name up. I'm sure Stefanski and Andrew Berry got tired of hearing it, but it's our job as coaches to try to get the best players in there that we feel help one another. And especially with Deshaun being the quarterback, they had worked together. And a lot of David and Deshaun yards, some of it came off of broken plays, and that was a big deal. It would have been another piece that Deshaun had working for him.
Uh, uh, I can tell you this, David. He's telling the truth. I've heard your name more times than I used to. Man, Stump, man. He talked about you a lot to me. Just about football, and he said, "Man, that guy David is the guy." I want you to talk about David, your work ethic and your routine because I went on your page and you write a little differently. I'm not that guy. That's takes a different temperament. Um, just for the fans watching, this guy is yoked. You know what I mean? You like a bear. He can run. You can't run from him. You're not going to outstrength him. He's in great shape. I see you running a marathon. Where does all this come from, David? What is it about the workout and the routine and the you obviously have an affinity for it.
It all came from when I was young. I've always been a guy who's got to be outside being active, got to be playing some type of sport or some type of physical activity. And, ever since I was a kid, my coaches, dads that I've played under their, youth sports, has instilled in me that, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't want to work hard. And so I've learned, you know, I got to do one more rep than the person next to me. Got to do one more.
Oh, we got froze.
Mm.
His computer froze. Well, hey, coach, we'll
Yeah.
let him get back. We'll let him get back on.
Rep than the person. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you
you
now.
now. Go ahead.
Here we go. Yeah. So, like I said, I got to always outwork the competition that's around me and the competition that I'm going against that I don't even know yet. And so, my biggest thing that I've learned throughout the years is that I always got to.
We having some technical difficulties.
Well, I know David was nothing but a worker. I mean, if the Browns had the opportunity to see him and Nick work
Be
together,
active and showcase, to go against. It's. Is it working?
Yeah. You're going in and out, David.
but
Yeah,
David
go ahead, coach.
just a guy that worked extremely hard, and I'm sorry we weren't able to, or I should say, I wasn't able to get them to just bring him in for a workout and meet the individual. Uh, don't worry about the player. Meet the individual, and they would have loved the individual, and definitely would have loved to see what he did as a player when he came in to give Nick a blow.
I want to say, coach, we lost David. We had some technical difficulties, but I did my research. I believe he's in New York right now. David Johnson is running a marathon in New York. I think he posted it as early as this morning, working out. I don't know how long his marathon is, but he's obviously in impeccable shape. I also want to talk about David's foundation. Him and his wife are doing some great things for children. It's called the Mission 31 Foundation. The mission of the Johnson Families Foundation is to provide opportunity, support, and resources to seriously ill children and their families by offering daily support and life changing experiences. So, looks like they're going in hospitals, coach, him and his wife, and helping provide some funding for hospitals and for kids and the parents of the children who are having some difficult times with in the hospital. So, want to commend him for that. Coach, we had some technical stuff going on tonight, but we recovered from it. The way you ran the ball. Any predictions for the Ravens Browns game next week? Browns game next week. Um, they had a tough game against the Bills. A very great game for Sunday Night Football. What do you think is going to happen, Coach?
I just don't think you can compare any other games that the Browns and the Ravens play. I mean, they know one another. Coach Schwartz is still the defensive coordinator. I think the Browns got a chance. I would take the points, whatever they're giving us, because the Browns defense, they usually go up there, or either when the Ravens come to Cleveland, they play a heck of a ball game. So I expect for those guys to bounce back, because I saw Joe's interview. I saw Kevin's interview after the game, and he looked beat. He looked beat. I saw Joe's interview, and he looked like, okay, it's one game out of 17. It's one that we should have won. We didn't. but we're not going to let one loss turn into two. So uh, I think the Ravens are going to have to beat them. I don't think it's going to be mistakes made because again, that's a game the Browns that they should have won. They missed the field goal, they missed the PAT, interceptions, tip balls, whatever the case may be, and they still lost that game by 1 point. The game against the Ravens is always a dogfight. So the Browns have a fighting chance.
Well, you mentioned last week with the Bengals, Coach, and I didn't say it, but I thought the Bengals were going to put up 42 points on them. So you were if they had not had those two uh, freaky interceptions where they bounced off the players' hands, Tillman and Judy, that score would have been right around what you said. I said, man, it's dumb to watch a lot of football because you see things. I'm like, I don't think he's right. But had they secured maybe just one of those balls and not turned into an interception, you would have been dead on. They would have won the game. They would have scored exactly what you said. And I don't know how you figured it out, but moving forward against the Ravens, Coach, again, from where I'm sitting, I just think they're going to have to figure out that run game. I don't see how they're going to get around that. Flacco played well, but I think you keep slinging the ball around, Coach. Eventually, the other team's going to have a chance at it, and you got to keep Lamar Jackson off the field. So we want to say thank you to Sapphire and David Johnson. I did want to talk to him about some of his personal experiences with you that me and him been texting back and forth about you. He mentioned that you taught him a lot about life outside of football with family and his faith. And, Coach, you touched a lot of people, but that young man spoke very highly of you. And he was very enamored with his experiences with you. So I'm going to let you take us out, Coach, and give us our final thoughts.
Well, I just like to just thank everyone for joining in. Definitely for having David. Russ always does a tremendous job, and all I can say is go Browns because there's a lot of guys, a lot of players on that team that I admire. Those guys worked extremely hard, and they had uh, the Bengals right where they wanted them, and unfortunately, they wasn't able to seal the deal. But the Ravens know that game is behind them. They know they got an angry Browns team coming in, and they know it's always tough. They find a way to win, but it's always tough. So I'm just thinking the Browns can go in there. Joe can get the guys ready to rock and roll, and they can pull one out.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see you guys. There's David. You know what? We're going to bring David back in if we can. I want to ask him. We got him back in. Let me see here. Just give us a second. We're going to bring David back in and let him close out the show, Coach. If we can get him back in here. Mm, okay, maybe we're having some problems here. So listen, Coach, I think we'll close out the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Running Back University Stump Talk Podcast. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, David. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye bye.